Up, we're going to hear from BASF Vegetable Seeds to provide insight on breeding for balance in consumer experience and agronomic performance. Joining us this morning, we have Sam Bush, Head of Sales Region Americas, Matt Dussault, Consumer and Customer Chemistry Manager, and Evan Ogundawan with the R&D Crop Technical Lead, Cucurbits. So Sam, Matt, Evan, it's all yours.
Welcome to BASF. My name is Sam Bush. It's our pleasure to be part of the ASTA Media Tour, where we'll be discussing breeding for balance. I will be joined today by two colleagues, Matt and Evan. Matt is our Consumer and Customer Chemistry Manager, and Evan, our R&D Technical Lead. Our discussion today. We are focused on becoming the preferred partner along the vegetable value chain through customer centricity, crop specialization, and consumer orientation. We're a company that combines market, product, and consumer insights with in-house expertise in R&D to develop well-performing varieties and to collaborate with partners along the value chain in order to offer vegetable solutions that make healthy eating enjoyable and sustainable. Why is that our motivation? With our Melons brand, BASF is one of the world's largest vegetable seed companies. We offer 1,200 vegetable varieties in 24 different crops, as well as unrivaled specialist advice. All around the world, more than 500 million consumers can daily enjoy vegetables grown from our seeds. To give some context to that number, that's more than the US population of around 330 million people. We are committed to contributing to the healthiness of the global diet. And this starts by understanding what consumers, what we all expect from vegetables. BASF's vegetable seed business is able to provide solutions for the world and to introduce new concepts. To know what kind of vegetables consumers want to eat, we research and monitor the market to identify the future market needs, customer needs, and consumer desires. This is the start for us to develop and provide to the market the best solutions. We understand that people want products that are good for the planet. They want products that have superior experience. They want them to be healthy and they want them to be convenient. Although our vegetable seeds are targeted at the beginning of the value chain, we share the same end user with every company in the vegetable value chain. Vegetable consumers are very important to us. We see demand increasing. We acknowledge that they seek an easy and enjoyable experience when it comes to fruit and vegetables. At the same time, we notice that they are increasingly valuing their health and sustainability. That's why we want to continuously improve the consumer experience of our vegetables with an emphasis on enjoyable flavor and convenience. And we will achieve this by the following: developing a deeper understanding of consumer preferences, a better understanding of how flavor and convenience are impacted throughout the value chain, and exploring innovative concepts with partners on how to deliver an improved experience to the consumer. So what does this all mean for melons? In the US, melon consumption has been steadily decreasing since 2011. The total category value has been decreasing at over 1.7% per year, with cantaloupes in particular decreasing at 2.5% year on year. Honeydews, however, we see growing at 2.3% year on year. But overall, melon consumption is declining at 1.7% per year. In a recent study in the US, melon consumers identified the top melon attributes. Here, I would like to pass to Evan so that he can talk about the insights like these and how we integrate these into the R&D community for innovation.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Innovative breeding is our solution to consumer needs. Once we know what the consumer expects, then we start to work in research and development. Our R&D division combines expert botanical knowledge with cutting-edge technology and solutions. From molecular breeding to automated processes, our dedication to innovation enables us to create and provide the best performing solution in the market. With our expertise, and R&D technologies, we are able to develop varieties faster and better traits for our customers. So the applied technologies include, but it's not limited to, close growing systems to perform high quality seed to seed cycles regardless of season, digitalization to ensure that nobody knows our genetics better than we do, and integrated breeding approach to ensure that our technologies are applied in the best and fastest way possible. Using these methods, we have not only produced solutions for our customers, but also do it with speed. For example, we were first in the market with varieties that meet new challenges, such as our resistance to the New Delhi virus in melon. Some other innovative examples will be shared with you today in this session. Finally, we focus on fostering powerful collaborations to strengthen our own capabilities and benefit from innovation opportunities globally. Agriculture is all about balance. Life itself is all about balance. The natural balance that powers the seasons, the climate, the crop cycles, the balance that is crucial to everyone's existence. Innovative breeding, this is our business excellence and is in our DNA for more than 100 years. That brings us to create well-performing consumer-oriented variety solutions. By working together with partners along the vegetable value chain, that is growers, processors, plant raisers, dealers, traders, retailers, and food service industry, we contribute to new vegetable concepts for the market, tailored to consumer needs and trends. Our products and advisory services create value to partners across the value chain. That value can be about establishing yield, protecting yield, processing qualities, and consumer value. For instance, we research and develop solutions around protection against viral diseases, transportability and taste, and climate change, that is heat and drought tolerance. We have a diverse of highly trained experts covering all relevant R&D functions. As many of our crops, melon is a global crop, and each melon breeding team is supported by scientists and researchers, including trait development, phytopathology, molecular breeding, data science and technology, and quality, consumer, and nutritional analytics. There is a dedicated team of researchers that also provide high throughput services to breeders and production on established technologies. These are a group of experts that are excited every morning, waking up and going to work in order to overcome challenges that our consumers and our customers face every single day. Development of consumer traits in R&D requires intense collaboration with marketing and accessing external expertise. We have strong collaboration culture in BASF vegetable seeds. We participate in consortia projects involving public institutions and other seed companies. But more importantly, we are proactive in seeking bilateral research collaborations with world-class researchers in universities and companies to gain consumer insight and fully understand consumer needs. Close interaction with these external partners help us to quickly jump on relevant leads and respond rapidly to consumer needs. In addition, we are able to leverage expertise in BASF Corporation for our business. An example is the BASF Metabolome Solutions in Germany, with whom our own vegetable seed food biochemistry experts in quality, consumer, and nutritional analytics collaborate closely on output traits. We explore advances in taste prediction and sensory testing of our products to ensure that the set out objectives are met before launching those products, and that is of making healthy eating enjoyable and sustainable. Now, my colleague Matt Desalt will show you some of those examples in Melon.
Thank you, Eben. Over the past 10 years, Nunam's vision has been to identify opportunities to deliver a positive consumer experience through branding. We've witnessed this firsthand with crops like apples, citrus, stone fruit, and grapes, and we quickly followed this trend in the market with our melon portfolio. We decided to take a data-driven approach using consumer behavior and preferences to lead our decisions. For that, we invested heavily in conducting consumer research to examine all aspects of the consumer experience, from sight to smell and flavor, and how it's perceived, to understand which traits are valuable and which ones are not for consumers. So that when we go back to Evan with insights on traits we want to focus on developing for melon, we use the data from consumers to drive our breeding investments. We have several examples of how we've used feedback from our consumer research to deliver and execute concepts to the market that I would like to present to you today. Our most famous example of bringing consumer-focused genetics to market is Sweet Spark Cantaloupe. Sweet Spark is a unique project demonstrating what is possible when the supply chain collaborates on tackling problems together and highlights the value it can bring to the overall market. We started working together with a clear and concise mandate from retail. Help us fix our winter cantaloupe program. In general, there are quality consistency issues resulting in poor flavor, causing consumers to avoid cantaloupes altogether once the summer season ends. This is made more challenging because of weather and long transport to the United States. In response, we spent considerable time and resources to identify exactly what consumers want in both sugar and flavor compounds. In addition, we spent considerable time looking at varieties and evaluating their performance with a focus on Central American production. After testing multiple cantaloupe varieties, we identified and commercialized a variety that was consistently delicious and, most importantly, unique in its flavor profile. This variety, named Sweet Spark, is a variety with consistent sugar, firmness, but most importantly, consistent flavor. The flavor profile allows it to eat well, even in adverse conditions affecting its sugar content. Identifying these attributes and this response with consumers during tasting allowed the retailer to deliver the variety in their own label and feel confident offering the variety to consumers in the winter months. We continue to work with customers to identify and highlight opportunities with our melon portfolio in hopes of finding the next great cantaloupe for consumers. The Hello Melon is another exciting product in our portfolio. The Hello Melon has a thin yellow rind, white flesh, and a crispy texture like an Asian pear. For this concept, we partnered with another retailer to introduce this to the United States market. While cantaloupes are the largest consumed SKU in the category, not all consumers like cantaloupes. There are consumers who shy away from a number of cantaloupe attributes, but namely its musky scent or flavor. BASF's aim with Hello Melon was to step out of the cantaloupe segment and create a different concept for consumers. We received a significant amount of feedback from growers and retailers about yellow skin melons and their desire to try something new in this segment. While the yellow skin melon category has been growing, many of the yellow melon varieties in the segment exhibit variable quality and consistency. Inspired by successful branding campaigns in other crops like apples and citrus, we aim to create a young, energetic brand with a bright, trendy color palette and emoji in the tagline. Our tagline is sweet, crisp, and a smiling emoji. We were looking to appeal to a younger generation of millennials and those young families to create a healthy option that can be consumed in a myriad of occasions, whether as part of a breakfast plate, after-meal dessert, or snack. We created and supported a marketing campaign which included support to retail via consumer point-of-sale material showcasing the attributes of the melon. In addition, we also sampled the melon at retail and had a social media campaign. With a brand manual, we focused on maintaining consistency in product quality, packing, and labeling to help consumers recognize Hello Melon in the market. While we've learned a lot over the past 3 years, ultimately, we decided on launching the product seasonally and focus on bringing the melon to market at the most optimal time for consumers. We are continuing to fine-tune our offer in 2021 to deliver this delicious melon to even more consumers across the NAFTA region. BASF has a strong pipeline of melon genetics across multiple segments. This pipeline has allowed BASF to develop relationships with the supply chain to collaborate and launch new items nearly every year or every other year. This year is no different with the launch of our Sunpeak Melon in the summer of 2021. We are happy to have Sunpeak introduced into our line of commercial products. It will be the most premium sutured style cantaloupe in the market. It is special because it has a harvest indicator, which is its shell that turns from green to gold when ripe. The flavor is sweet with caramel notes, and it has a sharp, brightly colored magenta flesh. It also has a long shelf life and can endure in the supply chain, making it an interesting proposition for consumers ordering online or receiving delivery. In the past few years, we've received reports from retail partners and consumers that the sutured cantaloupe segment is needing a refresh. BASF identified opportunities in the sutured melon market segment where a premium consumer experience was desired. As a result, we spent several years bringing this concept to market through our research and trials. With the Sunpeak Melon, we are again bringing a brand aligned with fulfilling our mission of delivering high-quality genetics to consumers. With our Nunum's brand, BASF offers more than vegetable seeds. We offer partnerships and consumer-oriented solutions for the entire vegetable chain, including growers, processors, plant raisers, dealers, traders, retailers, and the food service industry, all tailored to consumer needs and trends. Our vegetable solutions are truly vegetables people love because we meet and exceed the wishes and expectations of the consumer. We achieve this by creating improved varieties using the most modern breeding methods and working closely with partners throughout the vegetable chain. We proactively contribute to higher and enriched vegetable consumption through innovations that are healthy, attractive, and sustainable. Thank you for listening to us today. We appreciate your time and look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Sam, Matt, and Evan. Really interesting. I'm going to have you up here for questions. We have a few that have come in. Welcome. That Sunpeak melon looks really good. So I'm wondering what's next? What what challenges are you solving for now, or what do you see that consumers are looking for in the future?
I'll take that one, I guess. Yeah, so I think what we're working on now is really we're working on a lot of things, but I think that what we're really focused is on further incremental improvements to flavor. I see, based off of our research that we've done, and I don't think it comes to any surprise that flavor is number one in preference. Flavor improvements, and we continue to work on flavor to improve it, both learning from the consumer and then taking those learnings back to make those incremental improvements. And that means, again, whether that's sweeter melons or more consistent, I think those are two separate things, and we continue to tackle those problems and with our team.
Thanks. So taking it back a step, can you tell us more about the history of melon breeding? Kind of how did it start, and have they always been like what we see at the stores? I mean, I think that we're seeing that they haven't been, but what have been some of those major improvements along the years?
Yeah, I can take that. Thank you, Bethany, for that question. As mentioned in our presentation, our company has existed for over 100 years. We've been in business of melon for more than three decades, if I'm not mistaken. The breeding is about 2 decades that we've been working on breeding in melon specifically. But that does not mean that breeding just started for melon globally. So like other crops, there has been breeding activities in melon for many years. So what has changed? So technology has advanced since we started. Today we are able to deploy those research functions and programs and technologies that I mentioned some of them in the presentation in helping advance the breeding activities in melon. That includes advancements in molecular breeding with molecular markers, That includes understanding of the basic compounds that influence nutrition or flavor or other fruit qualities. Also, advancement in understanding the abiotic and biotic stresses that melon face with our phytopathology team, our agronomist, and quickly responding to that, using the power of technology. So that's what has changed. I hope that answers your question.
Great. No, it's a great answer. Thank you. Similar question that has come in for the others. Have you seen challenges as a result of climate change, and how are you working to solve for that?
Yeah, I can try to take that as well. I just mentioned a couple of seconds ago that there are biotic and abiotic stresses that challenge all crops, so melon not excluded. So what we do is to make sure that our customers are well taken care of. And then Matt did a good job by mentioning what those customers entail. We talked about the growers, we talked about retailers, and the king among them is the consumers, right? So what we do, if a grower cannot produce profitably, consumers cannot have their product. So disease resistances, stresses from environmental changes are part of what we work on to make sure that our crops are adapted to the production areas. And then that not only that, when they are harvested, from the point of harvest to the point of sale, post-harvest handling, that our products are able to withstand those. So that's what we do. We break down the components of those complex traits and try to attack them one by one. It's a continuous process. It's never ending, and it's challenging, and that's what makes us happy.
Yeah. There's always something new, right? There's always new challenges on the horizon. So, thank you. And speaking of, what are some of those diseases and viruses that are the big challenges for you right now?
Well, they keep evolving. As you know, we just talked about New Delhi virus. That became a big problem in the melon industry. And I'm proud to say that we are the company that first introduced a new product in the market that provide resistance to that virus, just because of the expertise that we have in-house, the connection that we have with our customers. So that's what we are very, very proud of. So there are several diseases that we continue to work on, whether that be viruses, bacteria, or even fungi. Yeah.
Thank you. I don't see any other questions right now. So as people are thinking of them and typing them in the chat box, I'll ask you a similar question as I asked before. How has COVID impacted your operations?
I think my colleagues can chip in. I will take a quick answer to that. One thing that COVID has shown us is the power of our collaboration, and flexibility. Of course, most of our people are shut in, working from home. But somebody who is like office worker is volunteering to help in the field, making sure that we do social distancing. We will not say that we have not been impacted, but I would rather talk about the beauty that this COVID-19 has brought out in our humanity and our passion for the business of making sure that customers are well taken care of. So, as a person personally, I'm really proud to be part of BASF Vegetable Seeds, particularly in this in this pandemic. It brought out the best in us. Yeah.
Thanks, Evan.
And
Anyone
maybe
else want to add?
Yeah, Bethany, maybe I can add a little bit as well to that. I think it's changed the way we've interacted with our customers very much this year. So a lot of different tools that we've been using and that customers have been using, I think, and it's been one of the real positives. I think if you look at the way we use digital tools to communicate and to share information both internally and with our customers, I think this has been one of the things that's forced us to move faster in that area. And the results that we see are, really nice in terms of interaction, in terms of understanding customer needs even better, and having that connection remaining, even though we can't sometimes be where we would like to be physically.
Thanks. Really good points. You mentioned digital tools, so that brings me to another point, and not just for melons, but on all of the crops that you're working on. How do you see, can you expand a little bit on some of these new digital tools that you have access to, and breeding techniques and innovation, and what you're most excited for, and what that will mean to the future of seed?
Yeah, digitalization is the future. So we all know that. And COVID-19 has underscored that in a big way. So we are at the forefront of making sure that we take advantage of all the development in the digital world. So yeah, there are many facets of digitalization. So whether that be working in the field, making sure that data are not collected on field notebooks anymore. We have devices that we use in taking those data, and then making sure those data are well stored and they are well analyzed, and then the analysis is done on a timely fashion to make sure that decision of the result of those analyses are taken at record time to move on in the breeding process. Up to the office workers using the digital world to further improve the efficiency of our work. So all I will tell you is that we are not oblivious of the fact that that's the future, and we do the best we can to make sure we take advantage of the advances in different facets of digitalization. All in all, to make sure that we are able to respond, not only respond, but respond in good time to the needs of our customers, because that's the main point that I would like to for us to get here. That look, our company work to make sure that the challenges that our customers face are met, and that we respond as quickly as possible to make healthy eating enjoyable and sustainable.
Great, thank you. That's a good bridge to our next question. We had a couple of people asking about sustainability, and I know you spoke to climate change briefly before, but how is plant breeding working to be more sustainable? What about water resources, shelf life? Can you speak to any of those advancements?
Yeah, I may do that. I just told you our main goal is to make healthy eating enjoyable and sustainable. Sustainability part, relating to shelf life specifically, connects melon in a special way. So we do have long shelf life melon. The reason for that is that when you take a melon from the point of harvest and then you get it to the grocery store, sometimes those melons look ugly. You have blemishes, and they deteriorate very fast. And then we want to make sure that, by the time the melon gets to the shelf in the grocery store, that they still retain the quality that the consumer wants. Not only looking good, but when the consumer gets it home, that they are not disappointed in what they are tasting. Of course, there is negative correlation between long shelf life and good tasting experience. Yeah, and that is the beauty of breeding, so of research, of what my colleagues that are with me today, what we do, Sam and Matt, with my team in breeding and in research to make sure that we find a balance between eating quality and long shelf life, so that there's less waste. So when we talk about sustainability, um, we want less waste. We want to actually eliminate waste. So that's what we are all about. And then these traits are complex. So like I mentioned earlier, so we have expertise that break these complex traits down into their components, and then we figure out how to how to bring those together in a package, um, in a product that Matt gave a couple of examples earlier on. Yeah.
Thank you. Great answer. So we talked about sustainability and taste. We have another question about nutrition. How are your breeding programs working towards improving nutrition with certain varieties?
Another great question. So we all know that vegetables are healthy. So it's our passion to make sure that all that you are hearing me, you eat more vegetables, regardless. Melon, especially. So why is melon so important? We know that all vegetables have antioxidants that fight against cancer and have good heart-friendly components. So what do we do? What we do, I mentioned earlier, we do have a team of researchers called Quality Consumer and Nutritional Analytics. So they are this group of researchers are what we can simplify as food biochemists. So they work closely with marketing and sales, Sam's team, Matt's team, and consumer insight people in our organization to understand, okay, what are the components of nutrition, and how do we make sure that our lines, what I mean by lines, for those that may not know, these are individual genetics in our breeding pipeline. How do we make sure that they do have the higher level of those nutritional components in our selection, so that the product that we are selling doesn't just look good, doesn't just taste good, but has the higher level of components of nutrition. So we do that. We do have expertise. What we don't have in-house, we collaborate with people outside, as I mentioned in one of my slides. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Going back to COVID, can you talk a little bit more specifically about how it has impacted your production this year, especially in terms of labor?
Sam or Matt?
Yeah, Bethany, just to clarify the question here, you're talking about melon production or our seed production?
It says breeding programs and production, so I would imagine maybe not just specifically for melons.
How has COVID impacted that?
Yeah, the breeding programs and your production, and also, are there any labor issues that have resulted?
Oh, well, I said when we were talking about COVID and the impact and the beauty that I saw in our team, yeah, so there was a point during that the peak of the of pandemic where we had to actually face or how will I say have like a roster of the number of people that can go to work. So we had people that are like office workers going to help out breeders in planting some of our fields. So that's what I was saying. So we were going to be short-handed in the breeding program because of the personnel we have, but people from marketing and sales, from even support staff, production, they stepped in several cases to help us out so that there's no gap. You know, yeah, that's what we see in the organization. I don't know whether that answers your question or not. Yeah.
No, I think that's helpful. Does anyone have any more questions on that or other issues. I don't see any more hanging out in the chat box here. Okay, well, again, if you think of any other questions, please send them in and we can work with the team to get you back responses afterwards. But I want to thank our friends at BASF for all of your insight and the interesting presentations and good discussion. Thank you for joining us, and we'll head on to our next part of the program.